In the past 3 years of doing this channel, we've been able to taste some of the best whiskey that's ever been made. We've rated over 500 whiskeys blind, and what you're about to see are our 15 best scoring whiskeys, period.
Welcome back to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Erin.
I'm Josh, and if you're new here, we are a husband and wife team. Erin more the social sipper, me more of the whiskey nerd.
Yep.
Erin's more frugal, I'm a little bit more loosey-goosey with the money, and what you're about to see are the 15 highest scoring whiskeys that we've ever rated in our time doing this channel.
Yep.
Now, what does that mean? Well, we taste a bunch of stuff blind. You can go back in the back catalog and look at all of the different styles of tastings that we do. But what these whiskeys are whiskeys that in the last few years for us have earned 2 thumbs up from the both of us.
Yes.
A very, very rare thing to happen because we have different palate preferences.
We do.
Erin likes a little bit more of a balanced, good, solid sipper with a lot of...
A little earthy, not too sweet, rounded, well-rounded balance.
Yeah.
So nothing punching me in the face.
Yeah. And I prefer a little bit of a rough and rowdy whiskey. I like it when there's a lot going on, a lot of complexity in the glass, a lot of punch, a lot of power. There's tons of stuff I've given 2 thumbs up to. Erin has given just okay to.
I feel like I'm a little bit more, like I hold my 2 thumbs up.
You're stingy.
I'm a little more reserved with them. Yeah. I'm a little stingy with them, not gonna lie.
And a lot of things you've given 2 thumbs up to, I didn't rate very highly either, because we just have that different palate preference. So what we figure here is the fact that we both gave all of these 2 thumbs up. It is reflective of the fact that they're going to be something that you can probably feel pretty safe going out there and buying yourself. So we hope this is a really helpful list for you. Even if you are new here and don't know our palates, you're getting stuff that's kind of across the board good.
I mean, again, we're saying that knowing that whiskey is a subjective hobby.
Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. And the common theme between all these is they're going to be flavorful, they're going to be balanced, they're going to have a lot of great stuff going on with them. This is in no particular order, and price is not taken into account when we're presenting these.
Correct.
However, price was taken into account because these are our final ratings based on the value of what we tasted in the glass versus the price that you would pay for it if you can find it.
So in the original video, price was accounted for,
right.
But in this video, we're not going to really speak to that.
Right. Everything's just kind of thrown together and presented in an order. And this is everything too. This is including international sipping spirits, all kinds of stuff. First up is a bottle that we do not have and we have never owned. It's William Larue Weller, specifically the 2021 release, but a lot of William Larue Wellers will qualify for this title. I mean, it's one of the best whiskeys that's released every single year. It's really hard to beat. You're getting cask strength Buffalo Trace from the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. I had to check my notes here. The proof point is 125.3 proof on the 2021 release.
Interesting.
It was 12 years old. It's not the best William Larue Weller I've ever tasted, but it is the one that we've tasted on the channel that we both gave a thumbs up to.
2 thumbs up.
Sorry, 2 thumbs up to. That's the whole premise of the video, and I'm already misspeaking. On the first bottle, we're a mess already. But yes, if you can get William Larue Weller for anything resembling MSRP of about $150 nowadays, it's well worth checking out if you like higher proof pours. But it also has a lot of balance, and it's just a wonderful product that we're really happy is on the market. Probably will never own a bottle. Them's the breaks. We know you're probably in the same boat. But if you can ever find one in a restaurant or a bar somewhere and you want to treat yourself to a special pour, it's a very consistent release. And it is worth thinking about.
And just so you know, down in the video description below will be links to all of the original videos where we taste these whiskeys and give them the 2 thumbs up.
Yeah. Next up is going to be none other than William Larue's stablemate in the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, George T. Stagg, specifically the 2022 release. This is not a bottle of the 2022. This is a bottle that has since been emptied of the 2020 George T. Stagg that we owned, and this has a home blend in it now.
Yes.
But the 2022 George T. Stagg is absolutely amazing. It is a powerhouse of a bourbon. 15 years old, 138.7 proof if memory serves me correctly, and it has a finish that just goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
It is wild. It's a wild whiskey.
Yeah.
But it has enough balance in there to not bowl you over.
That I liked it, yeah.
Yeah. So that's well worth checking out. I mean, obviously, George T. Stagg and William Larue Weller, if you can get them anywhere close to suggested retail, they're buys. They're buys for us too. George T. Stagg is a little bit more accessible at some of the crazy marked up prices out there. And if I'm going to splurge on a special bottle, it's probably going to be the one I'm going to splurge on just because there's, again, consistency, release to release. They're all usually very, very good. The 2022, in our opinion, just happened to be one of the more special ones ever put out. And let's go ahead and finish up the trifecta of unicorns right here at the start before we get into some more available stuff. And the third bottle is going to be 13th Colony Double Oaked, the very first release, batch release, 1,
which
135.3 proof.
You can't even get.
Yeah.
But we did give it 2 thumbs up, so.
We did. And we do not like the second release as much as we like the first release.
We like it, just not as much.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I said not as much.
I know. I just wanted to put an emphasis on that syllable.
Okay. That's fair. But yeah, this thing is crazy dark, rich, balanced, doesn't drink 135 proof, but the finish lasts, again, forever. I mean, it's got notes of coffee and chocolate in it. I mean, it's like a desserty, breakfasty, dinnery. It's a whole meal in a bottle, really.
It's tasty.
Yeah, we're huge fans of this stuff. Again, other special releases they have put out there haven't quite tickled our fancy quite as much as this one has, but we were very thankful to have gotten a bottle of this, and completely double blind, we were 2 thumbs up, the both of us on it. It's a very special bottle to us. And yeah, we're really happy to have one. All right, now with the crazy stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and get down to earth a little bit more.
Okay.
And this is going to be Michter's Toasted Barrel Rye. Specifically, and I'm going to check my notes here, it was the 2021 release.
Okay.
It was 115.6 proof, batch number 21C1062.
Oh gosh, you're getting very specific.
Well, if you look here on the neck tag, it will tell you. A lot of people are like, oh, the Michter's Toasted Barrel release from this year wasn't that good, or from this other year wasn't that good.
Okay.
They have different batches that come out every year.
Gotcha.
So it's not just one big batch release. The one we are specifically referring to is number 21C1062.
Okay.
115.6 proof.
Is that what?
This is not that.
Okay, I didn't think so.
That was a generous sample given us from Bill Kavanaugh. This is a bottle that we own, 108.8 proof, and this is a 2023 release. Nonetheless, Michter's Toasted Barrel Rye.
This is still good though.
One of our favorite products, and for the money, if you can get it at retail around $100, it's well worth buying. It might even be worth paying up a little bit for. For us, this is kind of like a Goldilocks.
Yeah, because you're not a big rye drinker, and I am. This is a rye that we both enjoy.
Right, because it gets the sweetness from the toasted barrel. Michter's does rye incredibly well. It's already sweet rye to begin with. Then you put the toasting on top of it. It just makes for this beautifully rich, decadent, desserty palate.
Yep.
Love this stuff. Absolutely love it. If you can find it, you should absolutely check it out. For the last somewhat special or limited release on this list, and if you're taking notes, this is only the 5th bottle. So we got 10 bottles coming up that you might actually be able to find in some form or fashion or capacity. Maybe, kind of, sort of.
A little
we'll talk
more
about that more.
Available stuff.
Yes, but this is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, specifically batch B522. Now, there are batches of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof that I have liked more than this. There are batches that Aaron has liked more than this, but there's not a batch that fit both of our palates enough to get 2 thumbs up from both of us, except B522.
Interesting.
It's the only time it's ever happened, and it makes a lot of sense.
With an Elijah Craig product.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense because this is a very balanced pour. It is very sweet, but it also has the balance to come through.
Yeah.
It has the oak to come through. It's not super heavy-handed on the oak.
It's pretty high proof, right?
This was 121.
Yeah.
121 proof.
And I think for me, if I remember correctly, the proof is what makes it kind of not too sweet for me. I know that sounds weird, but it's facts.
The proof and the oak kind of balance the
Yeah.
inherent sweetness
Yep.
in this particular blend. And this
Yep.
blend got criticized for Elijah Craig Barrel Proof because it didn't have the power that a lot of Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs have. But as we've said in previous videos,
A little more balanced.
this might not be the best Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, but it's very, very, very good bourbon. So that just goes to show you that if you're judging something based on your perceptions, it might not live up to it. But if you can get those perceptions out of the way, like we do with all of our blind tastings, you might actually run across something you really, really enjoy. That's this bottle for us. Thankfully, we got a backup in the bunker. Very happy about that. Love this one. And Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs are always buys in my book. You might as well. They're pretty good. Next up is a absolute love story for us.
Oh, what is it?
I
knew it.
Wild
I knew
Turkey
it.
Rare Breed Non-Chill Filtered, the travel exclusive.
Oh my gosh.
Now, this is a little bit of an asterisk because this is very hard to find. You have to get it in duty-free international travel shops.
Yeah.
You have to be traveling internationally to get it in duty-free shops, I guess is how I should say that. But we love this stuff. Yeah. We absolutely love it. Everybody who knows our channel knew this was coming at some point in time. Yeah. But we absolutely love this stuff. It's got all the baking spices, the caramel, the vanilla, the oak, the non-chill filtered version. And we've had this double blind. The non-chill filtered version has a little bit more oomph to it, to our palates, over the standard rare breed. And it just brings that extra little...
This is my intellectual British man in a library wearing a cardigan with elbow patches bottle.
We are big fans of Wild Turkey Rare Breed, especially the non-chill filtered version. It did get 2 thumbs up from us.
Yeah.
And can't say I'm surprised at that. With that said, it's time to get into the next bottle. Okay. And it is the regular version of Rare Breed.
This was our first introduction to the intellectual British man in a library wearing a cardigan with elbow patches.
Yes. Love this stuff too. Double blind. They've both gotten 2 thumbs up from us. And I think this was really interesting to look back on all of our ratings over the years and see both of these in there with both getting 2 thumbs up, because a lot of people put the non-chill filtered version up on a pedestal, and we do prefer it ourselves.
We do prefer it, but this also, in a blind tasting, got 2 thumbs up. However, full transparency, this has also not gotten 2 thumbs up in other blinds. So your taste can vary on day to day, but overall, consistently, Rare Breed, the non-chill filtered, and the regular have gotten 2 thumbs up from us. Both.
Yeah. And it's also fair to say, if you're looking at this, you're seeing the old label, which this is the label that got 2 thumbs up from us. They have now transitioned to a new label. Over time, batches just kind of change and drift and vary, and flavors kind of get a little different over time. Word on the street is a lot of the new bottles don't have quite the robustness of these older bottles.
That makes my heart sad.
And it may be the case for now, but that's just the season that we're in. Give it a year or two, give it a little bit of time, and quality's likely to come back around or change. And maybe you even like the newer bottles over these bottles, for all we know.
Yeah.
But for us, these older bottles that we got kind of between the years of 2020 and 2022 or so were really a good run of Wild Turkey Rare Breed. We stocked up, and we don't really need to go buy a new bottle, but I guess we're going to have to go compare it to these, because we need to see the difference for sure. But nonetheless, we still think Rare Breed is worth buying.
Yeah.
Definitely check it out. Speaking of perennial loves of ours that fit both of our palates really well, which is kind of the theme of the video, Sagamore Spirits Double Oaked.
Yes, sir.
Speak to it.
It's good. That's how deep I think about whiskey, y'all. It's good.
Yeah. Aaron loves this stuff.
I do.
And I love this stuff too. I had some last night in preparation for this video, and it just comes through. The rye's there, the sweetness from the double oaking is there, and you just like the wood character that gets imparted from the double oaking process is so prominent and prevalent in here that the whiskey's probably not very old. I don't think it says on the bottle how old it is. Oh yeah, 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
And then double oaked for an additional 18 months in toasted wave stave barrels. So they're doing some work over there, and it is showing and it's paying off. This is one of the lower proof pours on our list. That's a hard thing for us to get 2 thumbs up both on a low proof pour.
But I have to speak to the fact that it comes across with so much depth of flavor. And normally, not all the time, but normally for me to get depth of flavor, it needs to be a higher proof.
Yeah.
So for a bottle to do that, to have a depth of flavor on a low proof point, I'm always impressed. And I don't think this one made the list, but High Road rye.
It hasn't been in one of our double blind tastings yet.
I just want to say real quick, Hard Truth High Road Rye is also another lower proof depth of flavor product that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
So I know it's a caveat, but
if you look down here, it'll have a batch number, and people have talked about how some of these aren't as good as other batches. This is batch 5AA with this specific bottle, and this is the one that we got that we absolutely loved. We've been hanging on to this one. We have had other ones that aren't quite as good as this. We've had other ones that are, kind of on par with this. So as with anything, things are going to change over time. But as much as we love this stuff, it's got this like desserty pancakes and syrup type of vibe to it. If you like that sort of thing, even if you're a bourbon lover, because I'm a bourbon lover and I traditionally have not loved ryes all that much, this stuff delivers, and it delivers at a pretty good price point for a decent proof point.
And I think if you're a bourbon lover, you owe it to yourself to try double oaked ryes, because they will impart the sweetness that most bourbon lovers enjoy.
Yeah, to clarify a point, because I was talking, you started talking, and then I forgot. I mixed my thing up trying to get my point out.
I'm sorry.
this delivers at a very good price point for a lower proof point. I said it the opposite way just a second ago.
Gotcha.
But anyways, while we're on the point of lower proof, let's go ahead and stick with that theme. Travel international a little bit, because while we haven't done a lot of international content on the channel lately, we used to do a Wednesday series on international whiskeys, and we've brought back and combined our Monday videos to include international whiskeys as well. And those tend to get 2 thumbs up from both of us far more frequently than bourbons and ryes.
I like international whiskey a lot.
Our palates are a lot more in alignment. So let's get into the first one on that front. And it is going to be none other than Penderyn Welsh single malt whiskey Madeira finish, 46% ABV.
Okay. What does that mean proof-wise?
Around 92 proof.
Okay.
Or not around. It is 92 proof, 46% ABV. It is so rich and full of flavor for 92 proof for 46% ABV. The finish lasts forever for that ABV. It's got all the bright, fruity, pear, peachy type of notes in it, but then underneath all that is all the richness, the vanilla, just the barrel influence. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. And it's a really good price too. And you can find it in most markets. It comes in this wild box that's like this big black box. I had to take it out so you could actually see the bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got like, the presentation is on point. I
Yeah.
never would have thought a Welsh single malt would be hitting us like this,
Pretty
but
tasty.
it does. You should absolutely check it out. And speaking of our love for single malts, we have to include Bruichladdich, Bruichladdich, the classic Lottie, 50% ABV.
Yeah. This is like the weirdest bottle too.
It's wild. It comes in this awesome tin. Like, it just looks amazing.
Yeah.
This stuff is incredible.
It tastes really good.
It's an unpeated Islay Scotch, single malt, 50% ABV. It's wonderful. It's got a little smokiness to it, not peat, but a little smokiness on the back end, a little brininess. That's really, really beautiful.
Like you're out on the Irish seas or something.
Like you're drinking it on the coastal
Or
Scottish
Scotch
front.
seas, not Irish. This is a Scotch, not Irish.
Yeah. This stuff is awesome. I mean, a very pretty bottle. You know, you can't, what are you going to do? Like, this is a very unique looking bottle on the shelf.
Yeah.
But the whiskey inside of it has double blinded us very well, or double blinded for us very well.
Yes.
And it's wonderful. We absolutely think if you're into Scotch at all, and you don't, maybe you haven't dabbled in peat, but you've mainly stuck to like Speyside Scotches like your Glenlivets and your Macallans, this stuff right here is well worth checking out. You're going to get a lot more flavor, you're going to get a lot more finish, and you're going to get a little bit of that seaside brininess that really makes some Scotches really special to drink. Love this stuff, and the price is super good. It's well worth checking out. And this is our only Scotch on the list. The Penderyn was Welsh single malt. That was Scotch single malt. Next up is Indian single malt, Amrut cask strength. Amazing stuff.
Yeah. This is probably one of my favorite international whiskeys.
Where's that? 61.8% ABV, which if we were dealing with American whiskey, that would be quick math, 123.6 proof.
Really?
So it's up there.
Oh gosh, I didn't know that. It doesn't. Oh wow.
Yeah, the climate in India, you know, it kind of helps it age a little faster. It doesn't have an age statement on it, to my knowledge. So I'm kind of glad it doesn't, because if it did have one, that could influence people to kind of like, oh, it's not, you know, it's not worth it. It's too young. It's whatever. Who cares how old it is? It's fantastic. And this is why we do things double blind, because you don't have age statements and labels and all that stuff influencing
and
you.
brands and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, we've tasted a couple of different bottles of this. Some of them have been way fruity. This particular bottle has a really nice balance of fruitiness and the ex-bourbon barrel influence on it, where you get this kind of caramel, vanilla vibe to it, woodiness. It's incredible stuff. The finish lasts forever. It's kind of the theme for pretty much all these bottles. They all have great finishes.
Yeah, I think that's something we've realized we really enjoy is a really good long finish.
Yeah, saturation of flavor for the proof point, richness, and a good long finish. And this definitely ticks all those marks.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked out Amrut, please go check them out. This isn't peated. They do have peated versions like Amrut Fusion. You can check out some of those as well if you're interested. But this right here, I think, is starting point.
Yeah.
I mean, it got 2 thumbs up for a reason. It's fantastic. We are huge Amrut fans. Can highly suggest the Porta Nova We absolutely adore the intermediate sherry. This is the only one, though, that has gotten 2 thumbs up for us based on the proof or the flavor in the bottle, blind, and the price. So here's your value buy in the Amrut family. One more international bottle to cover before we come back over to home soil, as it were.
Okay.
And this isn't even a whiskey, but it did get 2 thumbs up from the both of us.
Yeah.
Foursquare Nobiliary Rum.
Was this the one that's like over $200? And I was like, yeah, buy it.
It was $150.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was expensive in my book, and I was like, I don't care, buy it. I want you to buy it. Which is not usually my MO.
Honestly, Foursquare, to be perfectly truthful, it just doesn't get better in the rum world as far as we're concerned. I've never tasted a rum that even comes close to this. This has been called the Pappy Van Winkle of rum.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
I believe it. Now, here's the thing. This one was in the blind tasting for us, and it got 2 thumbs up for both of us at $150. There are other Foursquares we own that we like even more than this one. We've tried other Foursquares that we like more than this one. Foursquare is just a buy. If you like rum, you owe it to yourself to check this stuff out. If you don't like rum and you like really sweet, well-aged bourbon, you absolutely should try to get your hands on a sample of this. Or you want to say something? Go ahead. I'm trying to make a point, but you want to say something? Go ahead.
Say
No, go ahead. I'm going to keep going. You go ahead.
I just wanted to say that even if you don't consider yourself a rum liker or a bourbon liker, because I don't, you might still want to try this.
And this isn't your fruit cocktail, beachy pina colada in a bottle.
Yeah.
This tastes like crazy old bourbon.
Yeah, it tastes like old bourbon, which I really like.
With a twist.
With a twist. There's like something different about it. I don't know, because I'm not a rum person, and I prefer rye over bourbon. So all those things you said are true, but also I want to know, like, I want to put in there that you don't have to like just bourbons or just rums to like this.
And when it comes to these Foursquares, by the way, this is Nobiliary, and it tells you all the information. There's a lot of transparency on the label. This one's 14 years old, aged in ex-bourbon casks, and some of them are even older than this. A lot of them are barrel proof, so higher proof points, saturated flavors, but they're blended with a ton of balance. And some of them are finished in things that aren't just ex-bourbon, like ex-cognac, ex-sherry. So you get these fruity elements that get added in, like dark red fruits and purple fruits get added into the mix as far as the flavor profiles go. But I know this stuff is probably not going to be sitting on your bar at home, or not your bar at home, but your bar at your local restaurant or watering hole. If you want to get plugged into a really good community that's down to share samples and, you know, have a good time with whiskey, that a community that values people more than it values whiskey, then you can do that through our Patreon. People are trading samples of Foursquare and all kinds of stuff. So if you're wanting to try a Foursquare rum, get on the Discord, join Patreon, pop over onto the Discord, be a part, offer up some samples for swaps, find somebody that's got something you're looking for. People are doing that all day long over there. It's well worth checking out if you value community and you're looking for a really good community of people that value good people and good whiskey. It's also where we release our barrel picks, and we release those to the top tiers and they trickle down through. And we even have a free tier on Patreon that you can sign up for, that our barrel picks go to that as well. So at least sign up for that if you want to have the opportunity to get some good whiskey in your hands that we went out and selected ourselves, put our stamp of approval on. But back to the Foursquare, absolutely fantastic stuff. Can't speak highly enough about them. We try to buy as much as we can, even though the price point is elevated. It's worth it. And speaking of barrel picks and Patreon, we don't typically put these in our blind tastings because it's kind of a double-edged sword. If we go 2 thumbs up on them, it looks like we're homers, even though we're double blind. If we rate them poorly, which we've never done in a blind, then that would obviously reflect pretty poorly on us. Luckily, all of our bottles that we put in that we picked have been amazing, even double blind. But probably at the pinnacle of the mountain is our first Nashville Barrel Company pick that we did last January in conjunction with Mr. Matt Porter over at ADHD Whiskey. It is Swag Junior, 127.4 proof, 5-year-old, unknown sourced Kentucky distillate. It's absolutely fantastic.
It's amazing.
I mean, it was your first barrel pick you ever went on.
First barrel pick I ever did.
It's kind of cool that it performed so well double blind.
It holds a special place in my heart because of that. But then when we were tasting it blind, I didn't know that's what we were drinking. I still gave it 2 thumbs up. It just really, like, hits me up in the heartstrings.
Yeah.
Pulls the heartstrings.
I mean, that's why we do barrel picks, because we get to go, we get to taste it, we know it fits our palate, and then we get bottles of it, and then we make those available to our Patreon community. But this one right here is kind of legendary. I mean,
it's with Matt Porter. It had to be legendary.
Yeah. These have been out there. I mean, we've had a couple bottles go for over $500 in charity auctions before. I think it's worth every penny of that, personally speaking. If I could get my hands on more bottles of this, I would buy them at whatever the price was. But Nashville Barrel Company is something we both love as well. Mm-hmm. We do a lot of picks over there. But this particular one, I put it in hesitantly in our double blind pool. And I remembered the video. Again, it's down in the video description below. It was absolutely shocking. It was against a George T. Stagg. So go check that out down in the video description below. We're rounding the bend here, coming down to the last couple of bottles. And our other low proof, readily available bottle is good old Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select, the black label, 94 proof. We call this our elevated summer sipper. We call it our warm-up pourer. We call it our just easy sipping go-to.
Yeah, it's a go-to.
It's a great gift bottle. I mean, just look at the dang thing. It's gorgeous. 94 proof. It's always fun to compare the single barrels. Get one or two of these, or get one as it's getting kind of low like this. Go out and buy the next one. Compare that single barrel to this one. See which one you like more. If you like the single barrel you just bought, go back to the store and buy more of them. Price point's right, which is kind of prerequisite for all of these bottles on this list. But yeah, we love this stuff. Yeah. I mean, I think this one right here, it's easy sipping. It's lower proof. It doesn't blow us away with flavor.
But it's good, solid bourbon.
Yes. And for the proof point that it is,
it's good.
It delivers big time on that, especially in comparison to its competitors at the same price or proof point. I mean, we can't say enough good things about this Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select. This is just one we picked up down at the gift shop, but we've picked them up off the shelf and they've been fantastic. We've done a barrel pick of this ourselves, which is our favorite one we've ever tasted. And we have confirmed that with blind tastings. It was better than this one that got 2 thumbs up. We just did that last night. Yep. We both massively preferred the pick that we selected. Yeah. But yeah, fantastic stuff. Jack Daniel's makes really great whiskey. I know Aaron said it was bourbon. It is bourbon. Their master distiller said so.
Tennessee whiskey.
No. Their master distiller said so. The Tennessee whiskey thing is entirely just marketing. Don't get lured into that trap. It's bourbon. They just call it Tennessee whiskey for marketing purposes. It's fine. They don't add anything to it. They just do the charcoal mellowing, filtering thing to it. So let's not get caught up in the weeds on all that. But I will get caught up in the weeds on what I feel like is the best rye whiskey, barrel proof, made on planet Earth.
Oh, yeah, you...
Which is also from Jack Daniel's.
Are obsessed with this.
This is our last bottle on the list. Probably one of my absolute favorites on this list. It would for sure probably be in the top 5. This has... performed incredibly well.
It's your favorite when you know you're drinking it, but you also really like it when you don't know you're drinking it, as evidenced by making this list.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
we both do.
Fantastic stuff. And again, to reiterate the point, I'm not a very big rye guy.
You might be.
This stuff right here tracks way closer to bourbon than it does traditional rye. I mean, you still get the rye backbone in there, but it's just so much dense, rich sweetness on top of that. You know, it's got a ton of caramel, vanilla in it. It's got all these different, spices going on. It's kind of a sledgehammer flavor. This one's 135.7 proof. It's a monster.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it's really good.
It is fantastic. And
just sip responsibly.
Value-wise, for barrel proof whiskey, this is, and I kind of saved the best for last as far as value goes. I don't know of a higher value pour as far as proof, flavor, price, all that than this. It's the best product Jack Daniel's makes, in my opinion, other than like a very specific special Coy Hill release here and there. Other than that, like, this is the best thing they make. And I just think it's wonderful whiskey. It's starting to get out there on the shelves. You should be buying it. You should be trying it. You should be giving it a chance. And just like the Single Barrel Select, these are single barrels. You should be, grabbing a couple from different proof points, comparing them to each other, and finding one that you really, really love. Because you could spend money on the most allocated whiskey on planet Earth. You could go out and buy a William Larue Weller for $1,500 in a store. I'd rather drink this.
Ooh.
Just saying. All right. this was a fun video.
Yeah.
Hopefully it provided you with some value, because these are our high value pours that we absolutely love. If you loved the video, think about liking it down below. Subscribe to the channel. This is what we do over here. We do these Tuesday videos every week where we're talking about something or another. Join in on the conversation down in the comments below. Let us know some of what you would consider to be 2 thumbs up whiskeys. I would love to hear that down in the comments, and other people can kind of browse through there and check them out as well.
It might be helpful for someone to see.
Yeah. By the way, our Patreon that we mentioned before, that's down in the video description below. It's linked down there if you just want an easy way to get to it. And we've got some shirts. This one is just a little logo here, but the back says good people, good whiskey, which is what we're all about over on Patreon.
Yep.
And, you know, we've got some merchandise and some apparel that reflect that as well. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you found it useful and a little entertaining. That's it.
Yeah, that's it for today. Be good to each other, and until next time.
Cheers.